This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando.
Hey, this is SwagDean again with Dice Commando. It's Destiny Friday, and I'm back with some more of my own personal history of Jank. I spent a lot of time trying to make Savage a thing. This was probably the best deck that I used with him. I named this deck Fett Savage in the Wonder Years. It was a decent deck. Boba Fett was very popular at the time, and because he has 11 health and Savage has 13, and Boba is typically the threat at the time. Most of the time, your opponent would see Savage as a liability because of his activation thing, and would try to kill Boba first. So this deck was designed to load up Savage so that he can finish, and he's really strong value. And then later in the game, his ability matters less. Like, you tend to be faster sometimes, and so you get to go first. And if you already have all your upgrades out, like, you wanted to activate and get your dice in the pool anyway. So it wasn't so bad to his ability. And there was some sweet tricks with it. So obviously, when you have Boba with Savage, you have access to 3s for the Boba special right away. And then as you get things like Maul's Saber, you get 3s and 4s, Dagger of Mortis, Heirloom, Ancient. There's a lot of 3s popping around for Boba's special to make him pretty nasty. And you can obviously, because he has a melee side, I mean, you can play some of these upgrades on Boba Fett and it's not a problem. And if they're redeploy, like Mortis, Heirloom, etc., it's not bad. Force speed was still nice. It was still available at this time. So, your first action, you roll in Savage, and then you can force speed, bring in Boba or start resolving. Like, it was frustrating. Force Fear is also one that's kind of fun, where you're rolling in first, and if you roll one of the 2 specials, remove an opponent's character die unless they deal 2 damage to that character, like, they have to roll in knowing I can do that now. Which was one of the better decks for that card, which is kind of an underused rare. And obviously crafted, any carry, you have a deck where this makes sense. And with Savage, he's always exhausted when it comes time to playing upgrades. So it's a really good value for all the future rounds. And then it has 2 resources to help you make some money. There are some pay sides in this deck. You tended to get Savage pretty loaded up, enough that I played Honed Skills, because a lot of times you'd have 1 or 2 crafteds on him, and then you'd probably have 1 redeploy from Boba come over. So it was very common that you would have a dagger and 2 crafteds, or a dagger, Force Fear, an Ancient. You often got him pretty loaded up. You'd liked having a Maul's Lightsaber. I think I only had 1 of these IRL. It's probably why I see more dice cards. Like, I didn't have 2 ofs of all these. I had 2 daggers, 2 Force Speeds, 2 Heirlooms. I might have had 2 Ancient Sabers. I don't remember if I had 2 at that time. But some of these were singleton just because I didn't have them. But Maul's Saber was definitely nice. When you activate Savage and you can do the Maul's Lightsaber on top of it, it's pretty great. Vow of Vengeance was also great in this one, like I said, because Bobo, you usually go down first. And then, once you add Vow of Vengeance, Savage as a 2/2/4/3 is pretty nasty. And that applies when you go to do something like Fear and Dead Men, because you're resolving each of your dice showing melee against each person, so you would get the Fear and Dead Men's boosted value with Vow of Vengeance out. So it becomes a 4, like on the Vader, that you can then do with Savage. So your first action, if you rolled in and you have that 3, you still have your 2 resources from the beginning of the round at a minimum. And if they still have more than 1 character, You can fear and dead man those fools, and get a lot of damage out there. So this was a fun deck. This was my favorite Savage deck. Because like I said, I spent a lot of time trying to get him because the value is just so good. Like, look at the dice sides and the odds of rolling damage on a 14 character with 13 health. I really wanted him to be good. Obviously, he was bad with Maul because, well, the Maul was terrible. So that he was designed to be paired with. It was one of the worst legendaries. I think I've already mocked that in videos. But we had other good 16 cost characters like our favorite bounty hunter, Boba Fett, and this one kind of worked. So it was a little tough on resources sometimes. Sometimes you got goofy with the redeploys. Because, like I said, he's already activated when you're playing your upgrades. So other than crafted, so a lot of times you did play on Boba, and you also wanted them to play into your plan. You wanted them to kill Boba, so you did often play your ancient sabers and such on Boba. Threatening, making him the threat, and then just eventually getting all that value into Savage. But it definitely had some downsides. This deck, but it occasionally went off. Was a whole lot of fun. I loved it every time it was. So this is another one of my favorites, and it was one of my favorite names, Fett Savage, in the Wonder Years into Fred Savage. I felt like it was one of my cheekier names that made it more memorable for myself. So this was one I really enjoyed busting out at locals or whatever against my friends. But don't worry, I have not hit the bottom of the barrel yet. I have more jank coming in the near future. So, keep tuned in here on Dice Commando. And as always, go Commando.